Hello. Welcome back to Life After Plus One. I'm Leanne, your podcast host and your single parent mentor and coach. And today I want to talk about one of the biggest topics that's spoken about as a single parent, and it's dating. Everyone wants to know, how do I find my love? I just want to meet my person. I don't want to be alone anymore. I mean, being single is not a bad thing, but some people do struggle with the concept. So today I just want to talk about relationships. And are you getting yourself in one for all the wrong reasons? Or are you staying in one longer than you should be for all the wrong reasons? So today I'm going to discuss that, and let's talk about 10 signs that you're settling in a relationship for all the wrong reasons. Welcome to the Life After Plus One podcast, where we turn life's lemons into delightful lemonade. Get ready for inspiring stories, uplifting conversations, and all the tips and tricks to rock your single parent journey with style. I'm your host, Leanne, and it's time to embrace the adventure of Life After Plus One. So let's dive in. Okay, so why do people settle in relationships? Well, a lot of the time, it's because they just want that feeling of being loved. They want that person in their life that's going to make them feel special. And quite often people find this person in their life or this partner, but they don't make them feel special, but they have those small little glimpses of nice moments. And they overlook all those bad moments because they just want someone there. And so they're settling for all the wrong reasons, knowing that it's not the right person, knowing that there's things happening that they're not comfortable with or that they're not liking, but they overlook it in fear of being single, or in fear of not finding someone else, or in fear of just not feeling good enough in themselves. There's so many factors that contribute to it, but today let's talk about the signs. Are you in a situation where you're a single parent, you're back in the dating world, and you're settling? So how do you know this is you? Well, step number 1, are you afraid of being alone? Are you more afraid of loneliness than you are excited to see them? Because when you're with someone, you want that. You want to feel excited when you see them, when you have a date planned, when you've got something coming up. You're looking forward to seeing them again. Are you at a place where that doesn't exist? And it's becoming more of a chore instead of something to look forward to? That's a good sign that you're settling. There's things happening that you're not happy with, because if you were happy, you would be looking forward to seeing them, not dreading to have to spend another day with them or counting down the days till you get to spend some time alone without them. That's a sign that something's not right here and you're settling in your relationship. Another sign, number 2, you're ignoring the red flags. Now, there is a fine line with this sometimes, because you want to be able to compromise. You want to be able to give and take in a relationship. And sometimes letting them do things that you don't like and letting things slide can be overlooked as ignoring a red flag. Now, compromising is one thing. Compromise is when you're happy to let things slide. You can bite your tongue. It's not that big of a deal. You know, you have your differences. You're never going to be exactly the same, or you're never going to agree on things exactly the same way. So you're happy to compromise. Okay, that's what they like to do. This is what I like to do. Ignoring the red flags is quite different. It's when they constantly push your boundaries, whether it's they keep mocking you, they make fun of you, they belittle you, lying, gaslighting, blaming you for things that you're not even doing, and just being constantly negative. If you're letting those things slide, then you're ignoring the red flags. Those are not behaviors that you compromise on. These are patterns that display massive red flags. And if you're constantly allowing this and you're constantly turning a blind eye to this because you don't want to fight, you don't want any trouble, you don't want any drama, you are settling. You cannot be happy in a relationship with someone who keeps doing this to you. And quite often people don't say anything in these situations in fear of what's going to happen, in fear of upsetting the other person. But really, if you're sticking around and tolerating this and just accepting it and biting your tongue, You're making yourself unhappy in the process. Why does your happiness not matter? It does. It does matter. And that's why it's important to not just settle and to not ignore those red flags. Another sign that you're settling in a relationship is when you feel like you're their mum or their dad, when you feel like you're parenting your partner. That's a no-go. You are not babysitting another adult. And sadly, that is a common scenario where you hear people, they just sit around, they don't do anything, and they just want to be babied by their partner. That is not your job. That's their job to fix. That's their job to sort out. If you are in a relationship where you're babying someone, or not so much babying, but you're being their caregiver, you're being their parent, you're pretty much doing everything for them like you would your kids. Is that making you happy? Is that an equal relationship in your eyes? Because really, when you get to that point, when you're your partner's parent, well, not so much you are, but you're being treated like you are, or you're behaving like you are, then that's not a loving relationship. That's a situation where you're settling to make the other person happy. And that's not what you want to be doing. Another common sign that you're settling in a relationship is when you tell yourself over and over again, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Okay, well, relationships are never perfect. There's always going to be the ups and downs. But if you're at a place where you're saying it's not that bad, you know it's not right. You know it's not right, because when it is good, you don't focus on those bad things that are happening. It's not even a factor to say it's not that bad because you're happy. But when you're in a situation where you have to convince yourself and convince others that it's not that bad, then it usually is. And between you and me, I've been there. And so I know what it's like. I know what it's like to get sucked into that situation where you put your partner on a pedestal and you think they're this amazing person, and every now and then they'll do really nasty things and behave in such a poor way, which makes you feel uncomfortable. It makes you feel shit. It makes you question the relationship by saying it's not that bad. But the thing is, a relationship should never be described in that context using bad as the title word for it, saying it's not that bad. It should be described saying it's really good. It's great. I'm so happy. They make me feel good. Haven't been happier. That's how a relationship should be described. When you're describing your relationship by saying it's not that bad, it is. And you're settling. And you're pretending like certain things aren't happening because it's easier that way. It's easier to handle. Well, you're not handling it. That's the thing. So I'll just say this. I want you to keep in mind next time you say this to yourself or to a friend or to someone else about your relationship, saying it's not that bad. I want you to remember that it doesn't just change overnight and get better. If there are things that you're not liking, thinking it will just improve, it doesn't happen. And that goes on to my next point, which is you're hoping that they will change. Doesn't happen. And again, I know what that's like. You think, oh no, they've had a rough childhood, or they've had a rough upbringing, or they've been through this, or they've been through that. You cannot change anybody. You can maybe offer to help them if they're on board, if they ask for help. But you cannot force somebody to change. It's not going to happen. And even though you're coming from the best of intentions, you're wanting the best for them, you're wanting to see the best version of them, you can't force somebody to change if they're not seeing any wrong in what they're doing. If they're a person that never comes up and apologizes, if they're a person that doesn't have any problems with the way they're behaving, and they just keep repeating these same patterns over and over again, from being verbally abusive, aggressive, being name-calling, nastiness, lying, all these things. If this is an ongoing pattern and they're not apologetic for it, this is not a pattern that's all of a sudden going to change. So I really want you to remember, and this is a hard one to process because I know you do. I know you want the best for people, and it's hard just to walk out on someone knowing that this is who they are and you're leaving them at their worst. But it's not your job to fix someone, and you don't want to fall into that pattern of being their mum or their dad. You don't want to fall into parenting someone because you feel like they need to change. No, it's their job to sort out. So please stop giving yourself false hope by thinking that one day it'll just stop. One day they'll be nicer to me. One day they'll start to apologize. It doesn't happen. That's who they are. They've shown you their colors. They've shown you who they are. Believe it. They're not lying to you. That's them. That's their character. So don't sit around waiting and hoping and praying that you can fix somebody or you can change somebody. And if you're in that situation, then I hate to say it, you're settling. And why are you thinking or trying to convince yourself that you cannot find someone who is better matched for you, who is more aligned with what you're after, who doesn't walk all over your boundaries? Someone like that is out there for you. Don't feel like you have to settle for this wrong person in fear that the right person's never going to show up. Another one, and this is a common one with people that don't know what to do, and that is they stay out of guilt or they stay because they feel like they have to. That's their only option. And I understand, and I'm totally respectful of certain situations where people are maybe stay-at-home parents and they don't have the funds to just go off to their own place. They don't have family support. I understand. It's difficult. I know. I myself left my daughter's father with no family support around, with no finances behind me. It's hard, but it is possible. Now, I'm not telling anyone to do that, but I am saying there are options out there. So don't feel like you have to stay because there's no other option. There are options out there. You've just got to do your research and find out what's available. So don't just leave one day because you finally had enough. I'm like, shit, where do I go? I've got nowhere to go. I've got to sleep in the car. Do your research. If you're at a place where you feel like you have to stay but you don't want to, see what services are available in your area. See what benefits are available in your country. See what support you have. Reach out to other single parents. Reach out to friends. Reach out to family. Reach out to anyone where you can even just sleep on a lounge until you get your feet back on the ground. But just remember, you don't have to stay with anyone if you're not happy. If it's not working for you and you've just had enough, but you feel like you have to stay, this is your reminder that no, you don't. Now, the next point. Are you in a relationship where you feel like you're just not seen and you're not heard? They don't respect anything you say. They don't listen to you. They don't pay attention. It's all about them. They're controlling and they just want it all that way. And really, they're kind of treating you like they're your boss, like they're your parent, like in that earlier comment. If you're in a relationship like that, does that make you feel good? Does that make you feel wanted? Because that's what you want in a relationship. You want someone to make you feel good. You want someone to make you feel wanted. You want to be someone's equal, not less than. You're not looking to be controlled or bossed around by somebody. You're wanting someone that's on your path, that's an equal to you, where you both can communicate with each other. Not someone that doesn't listen to you, that doesn't respect anything you say, that doesn't respect anything you do, and doesn't value what you do or your input when it comes to any conversations. So if you're in a relationship where you're feeling like you're not being seen and you're not being heard, then you're settling in this relationship because there's no way that can make you happy. There's no way you can feel fulfilled in a relationship when that's how you're being treated. Here's another good one. And yes, I have fallen victim to this one years and years ago when I was in the dating world. Well, I still am, but not so much actively. But when I first broke up with my daughter's father, back in that stage where I was dating, you lower your standards to keep the peace. And you lower your standards because you feel like you can't get anyone better. I have been there. And you settle on things. It's like, I don't like that they do that, or it's not someone who I'd normally date, or there's things about them that I really don't like. It just really rattles me, but it's not that bad. I can overlook it. I can let it slide. But you're settling. You know that you're chatting to someone and it's something that's a deal breaker for you, but you're like, oh, okay, I'll ignore it. Like, for example, a common one might be vaping or smoking, and you're just against it. But you start chatting to someone who's a smoker and you're like, oh, okay, it's okay, I can overlook that. But you know deep down that you hate it. You hate the smell. You hate the smell in the hair. You hate the yellow fingers. You hate everything about it. But you're just going to let it slide because you're lowering your standards to keep the peace. And there might be something that you don't like, but you don't want to raise it up with them. You don't want to bring it up because it might start an argument. So let's just keep the peace. Let's not talk about it. If you're at a situation like that, then you're settling. You want to be with a partner where you can talk about things. If you're scared to talk to your partner about things that's not working, something that you're not happy about, or something that you're just unsure about, then talk to them. That's what you want. If you can't talk to your partner, then why are you with them? Because that's the biggest thing that makes a relationship work, that communication. And sadly, you see it all the time on Facebook. People asking questions about their partner. My partner does this. My partner did that. So-and-so did this. My wife did this. My husband's done this. I don't know what to think. Ask them. Talk to them. And the fact that they're raising the question shows that there's something that they're not happy about in their relationship. But for some reason, they're too scared to raise it with their partner because they don't want to rock the boat. So they're lowering their standards and they're settling just to keep the peace. They don't want to fight with their partner, so they're just going to keep the peace, so they won't raise it with them, but they'll bring it up with Facebook. It's bizarre, isn't it? Talk to your partner. That's what a healthy relationship is all about. And as I always say, just because you're talking to them about something doesn't mean you're going to sit down and have a all-out World War III battle. It means you're going to sit down and talk to them. You can say anything you want, but you find a nice way to say it. You don't have to do it in a way that you're being nasty. You don't have to do it in a way where you're going to get angry at them. You can just have a civil conversation and tell them what's on your mind without getting into a nasty battle between you both. And that's why so many people are scared to raise issues, because they're scared about getting in a fight. So they just sweep it under the carpet. It's not about fighting if you know how to communicate it in the right way. So if you're lowering your standards to keep the peace and things are happening that you don't like, but you're too scared to talk about it because you want to keep the peace, then you're settling in your relationship. Here's another good one. You feel like you have to stay because it's been so long and you've invested so much time and energy as it is. And you just think, well, I can't leave now. I've been in it for 20 years. I may as well just stick it out. That sounds like a happy relationship. You're staying because you have to. If you were in a job that made you feel like that you went to and was like, I hate this place, but I've been here for 20 years. I may as well just keep going. Would you? Or would you find another job that would make you happy? Would you find something else that would make you more fulfilled? I know I would. If I was in a place that made me feel shit, I wouldn't stick around. Same with people, same with friends. If you had any acquaintances around you that made you feel like shit and you didn't like their company, or their company just made you feel like you had a brick, you just felt so weighted down, you'd be like, oh, this isn't for me. I don't need this. This is just too draining. It's just messing with my head and I don't need it. You're not a failure for admitting something has reached its expiry date. And sadly, sometimes relationships do, because you get to a place where people just stop putting in the work. Relationships take work. It's not just a matter of being married, put a ring on each other's finger, getting a certificate, and then saying, yep, we're married, and it's all just going to be butterflies and rainbows. It doesn't work like that. You have to keep putting in the effort, keep going on dates, keep being kind to each other, keep that communication going. That's what makes a good relationship. But if you've reached a point where that's not happening and you don't have two of you putting in that same effort, you're going to reach a stalemate, and you're going to get to a point where it's just like, I've been here for so long, I may as well just stay here. Or you could get to a point where you say, hey, this isn't working, let's do something, or let's go our own separate ways. There is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing about being a failure with that, because not everything in life always works out. We all know that. Things end, things fail, things fall apart, things don't go as planned. That's just life. Life is never just going to be one easy, process. Life is always throwing tests at us. And sometimes those tests are relationship failures, marriage breakdowns, and divorces, and all those other things that come with it, I should say. If you've reached a point where you're thinking, I've been here this long, I may as well stay. Or I've been here this long, I can't go on. What else am I supposed to do? You find you. You find what makes you happy. You find what lights you up. Your needs matter. So please don't use the excuse of the time that you've been in a relationship for as a reason to not want to leave, even though you know deep down you're not happy. But you think, I've been here for this amount of time, I may as well keep going. Don't do that. Because if you know this isn't working for you and you've exhausted all avenues to try and make it work, then it's time to kind of wave the white flag and say, we're done. This isn't working, and get yourself out of that settling phase. My last point to know if you're settling. You know you deserve more. If you've reached a place in your relationship where you're saying, I deserve so much better, I don't deserve this, this is not for me, you're settling. You've reached the end of your relationship. If they're not doing anything to redeem themselves or to make the relationship work, mind you, it is a two-way street, it's got to come from both of you. But if you've tried and they're not trying, and you know you deserve better, but you're not doing anything about it, for example, you're not wanting to leave or you're not wanting to fix the relationship, then you're settling. If you know you deserve better, then this is your time to find better. Because just remember, you lead by example to your kids. Our kids see everything, and you'd be surprised at how much our behavior as adults reflects onto them and how much they copy that. If you're coming across in a relationship like you're too scared to communicate, you're too scared to talk, good chance they will be the same. They're not going to be kids that are going to speak up and not going to talk because they're not seeing their own parents do it. If you're in a relationship where you see someone constantly being nasty and mean to the other parent, then you might just think, well, that's how relationships are. That's how it is. So maybe when I meet a partner and they do that to me, that's just normal. And you might be thinking, yeah, bullshit, Leanne, that's not how it happens. It does. You will be surprised that these behaviors are repeated down. And unless someone in that cycle puts a stop to that pattern and go, no, this is not okay. I am not having my kids go through this. This is not the way I want my kids to see a relationship. And this is not the kind of relationship I want to example to my kids. Then it's up to you to make that change. You be that role model for them and show them what a good relationship is. Show them what a healthy relationship is. Show them what they should expect from a partner. Don't sit there and settle in a relationship when you're getting called nasty names, or when you're getting treated like a baby and they're just bossing you around, or you're treating your partner like they're a baby and you're parenting them. These are not healthy relationship patterns. So just to go over it quickly, I'm going to go over all those points again, just so you know that if you're doing any of these, then yes, you're settling. So number 1, you're more afraid of being alone than you are excited to see them. Okay, being alone is not a scary thing. But if you're more excited to be single or to have your time away from them than you are about being with them, then you know something's not right. You don't want to be in a relationship with someone if you're not excited to be with them and you're dreading that time you spend together. Number 2, you're ignoring all the major red flags. They're being nasty, they're being abusive, they're name calling, they're gaslighting you, they're lying to you, they're doing all these nasty behaviors, and you're just letting it slide. You're just letting it slide. Why? Why are you letting it slide? Don't. This is your time to put a stop to it. Number 3, you feel like you're their parent more than you do their partner. That's not what you want. You want to be someone's equal, not someone's parent, not someone's caregiver. You want to be their equal. Number 4, when you keep convincing yourself and your friends and your family that it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I can tell you right now, if you're saying that, good chance it is. Number 5, you're hoping they will change. You're sticking around because you think maybe one day you'll see a better version of them. Maybe one day they will wake up. Maybe one day they'll realize what they're doing. Maybe one day they will realize that they're being a complete arsehole. Doesn't happen. I mean, hey, maybe they will, but it's not going to happen if you keep forcing it on them. And if they've got these constant nasty traits that you're seeing on a regular basis, then that's who they are. If they're a constant liar, if they're a constant name caller, if they're constantly putting you down and they're gaslighting you, they're manipulating you, that's not going to just change. So don't sit around thinking that you can fix someone or change them. You can find someone that is out there that is exactly as you want without having to change anything about them. Number 6, you're staying out of guilt, or you're staying because you feel like you have to. You feel bad about leaving. You feel bad for many reasons. There's many reasons people can feel guilty for leaving. Maybe it's the shame that comes with being a single parent. Maybe it's the shame of being in a relationship that hasn't worked. There's so many reasons. But at the end of the day, you're not in a relationship to please society. You're in a relationship for you and what makes you happy. And if you're not happy, then who gives a shit what anyone else thinks? Your goal in your life is not to stay in a relationship to make other people happy or to stick to a stigma of what society expects. Your goal in life is to find someone that loves you how you should and deserve to be loved. And that's what you want. So don't stick around because you feel like you have to or because you feel guilty. Number 7, you're not being seen and you're not being heard. You want your equal. You want someone that's going to listen to you. You want someone that you can talk to. You want someone when you've had a shit day at work or a shit day with the kids that you can just sit down on the lounge and have a good vent with them. Not someone that has no interest at all in hearing you out. They just, oh, fuck, are you moaning again? What are you whinging about? If you're with a partner like that doesn't want to listen to anything you say, then fuck, what are you doing? Why are you settling for this behavior? Number 8, you lower your standards just to keep the peace. So things that are happening in the relationship, whether it be when you're first meeting someone and it's not what you want, but hey, I'll just keep the peace, I won't bring it up with them. Or you're in the relationship and it's been going a while and things are happening that you don't like, but I don't want to bring it up because I don't want to fight, so I'll just keep the peace. But by just keeping the peace, you're making yourself miserable. You're making yourself unhappy because you're stewing on all these things that are not or are happening, I should say, or maybe they're not happening. And it's just messing with your head. Good chance you're not sleeping at night. You're talking to your friends about it. Good chance your friends know all this stuff, but your own partner doesn't. So why are you not bringing it up with them? If you have a problem in the relationship, bring it up with your partner, not Facebook and not your friends, with your partner. And if you can't talk to your partner, what kind of relationship is that? Where you're just sliding along, floating through every day, just hoping for the best, too scared to raise anything in case it might turn into a fight. But really, the right partner is not going to want to fight with you. The right partner is going to want to talk to you and listen to you and hear you out and be respectful, even if they disagree. They don't have to agree with everything you say, but it is only fair that they do listen to you. And if you're with someone that's not willing to listen to you and you're just letting things slide because you're worried about being in a fight, then why are you lowering your standards? Why? Number 9, because you've invested so much time. You've stuck around for so long. You don't know life any other way without them. What else are you going to do? May as well just stick around. There are options out there. Do your research. Get as much support as you can. I'm not telling you have to leave, but if that's the reason why you're staying, then you're in it for the wrong reasons. Number 10, you know you deserve better. You know that there's better out there, you deserve better, and you're sick of not being treated like you should be in a relationship. You're sick of the bullshit, you're sick of the arguments, you're sick of everything that's happening, and you know you deserve better. Then go and find better. Now, as I said at the start, it is a scary thing leaving a relationship, especially as a single parent. You ever think, well, I've already left my husband or my wife. I don't want to have to go through another breakup. I get it. It's hard. It's shit when you've been through a divorce and then you go through another relationship and then that fails. And you're like, fuck, what do I do now? It's a shitty situation to be in, I understand. But would you rather be in a situation where you're walking away from something that's not right, or staying in a situation that you know that's not right, but you're not happy, but you suck it up because you're too embarrassed to people to see that relationship hasn't worked? At the end of the day, who cares what other people think? They are not paying your bills. You do not need to care what anyone says about your relationship history. So please do not stay in a relationship because you're worried about what people might think. You're worried about not finding someone else. You're worried about all these what if. Or do you know what? What if it worked out even better? What if you did leave this person that you were settling with and found the person that you no longer need to settle for? They've got all the qualities that you're looking for in a partner. That's what if. What if it just gets even better? So stop focusing on the negatives as to why you shouldn't leave and why you should stay, when there are other positives out there of why you should find what's right for you. Now, again, I'm not sitting here and telling you should leave a relationship and go out and do all this stuff. I am telling you that if you're doing most of these things that I've just mentioned today, then you're settling and you're not in a healthy relationship. So you either need to start making changes in yourself and start sticking to your boundaries, start being firm, start being more confident, or you need to actually make some changes in your relationship and say, you know what, this is not working. This is not what I'm looking for in life. I need to set a better example for my kids, and staying in this miserable relationship is not what I want for me, and it's not what I want for my kids. So that's some food for thought for you all. Just something to think about if you're in a relationship where you're feeling, I'm not sure if it's right, but hey, I'll stick around. Well, like I said, there's things that you can compromise on, which are normal. You don't have to start a fight or leave someone because they don't put the toilet seat down. You don't have to leave a fight or leave someone because they just like to get their nails done every month. Who knows what the situation is, but whatever it is, there's things that you can compromise in a relationship. There's things that you can just overlook and go, okay, that's what they do. That's what they like. That's fine. But then there's things that you don't overlook, such as red flags, such as things that make you unhappy, things that make you feel uncomfortable, things that aren't making you feel good at all. Because your partner is there to make you feel good. That's the whole idea. You want someone that uplifts you. You want someone that you get excited to see. That's going to talk to you on those shit days. That's going to help you through life. That's going to help you to be the best version of you. And just like you can do the same for them. That is what you want in a partner. Not someone that you go home to every night and you question yourself and think, what the fuck am I doing? If that's the situation you're in, then I'll ask you this question. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you staying for all the wrong reasons? Why are you settling? Why do you think you're not good enough to find someone better? Why do you think you're not worthy of finding someone better? You are. You are worthy of finding your person. And just quickly before I sign off, if you are struggling to find your confidence to find that person that you're worthy of, if you are struggling to actually make that step, take that leap and actually leave, then let's have a chat. I have free one-on-one chats where you can get to know me and I can get to know you, and you can see if this is something that aligns with you and something that works to help you through that phase. You can do 1 or 2 sessions, you can do more. It is totally up to you. But if you're at a place where you're feeling stuck and you just need that little boost, then let's have a chat. All my details are in the show notes below, or jump onto my website, loveafterplus1.com, and you can book yourself a free one-on-one chat there. So thank you again, everyone. And please, I'm not talking anyone out of a relationship. I'm encouraging you to find the right relationship for you. I don't want you to feel like you need to stay with someone for all the wrong reasons. You are worth so much more. And that's what this episode is about. Know your worth, know what you deserve, and don't settle because you feel like you have to. You don't. So that's about it from me. I really hope you got something valuable from this episode. And if you do, feel free to share it. Jump on and follow me on my Instagram page, Life After Plus One. Share your feedback, share any questions, share any thoughts, and share any podcast episodes that you want to hear that I haven't discussed already. Let's hear your questions of what you want answered. And don't forget, share it with your single parent friends. Get them on board, and let's get all our single parent community finding that right person and not settling. All right, guys, that's about it from me. And until next time, I'll be in your ears then. Thank you for joining us on the Life After Plus One podcast. If you loved what you heard today and looking for some further support, then jump onto our website, lifeafterplusone.com. Plus, don't forget to check out our Instagram page for further resources and inspo. You can find all the links in the show notes. And remember, you're not alone on this path. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. And in the meantime, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep exploring your amazing life after plus one.